Hello warriors, this is Mars and welcome back to another Elden Ring PVP video. So today I bring you a little bit of Pickaxe PVP. I just recently picked it up. I was looking for another interesting weapon like the Great Hammer and Great Axe category, and it kind of stumbled on the Pickaxe. I guess I can say stumble. I watched St. Riot play on his Magica Warrior, if I think that's what he was playing as, a little while ago. He had gravitated towards the pickaxe because Hazel Pick didn't exist yet, or doesn't exist in the game yet. So I like the pickaxe specifically for its piercing damage. Originally I got it because it had a similar backstep and reverse backstep attack moveset as great axes, since they can pretty much catch most opponents off guard if you use it correctly. But as I began to play with it, I realized how much potential it had with counter damage, which makes the variant of weapon pretty interesting. Most of the great hammers and great axes pretty much have the same moveset. Some of them are interesting because they have their own unique movesets, like the Butcher's Great Axe. And I guess, honestly, that's probably it. Some of them just have intrinsic traits that make them somewhat interesting. That's why I kind of gravitate and play with these weapons. But from the pickaxe, I really do like the piercing damage. It is a great hammer, so it's not a great axe, but that's fine. I mean, they like I said, they basically have very similar movesets. In conjunction with some Ashes of War, they can be very devastating. Like, so far, I'm pretty much only play with a cold pickaxe with Earthshaker, which I might try Darkness in some situations, just because great weapons are kind of on the slower side, but they're faster than colossal weapons, so they have pretty good follow-up. You can get away with some things, but you're not going to get away with a lot of other things, especially against faster weapons and faster weapons being in the hands of smart players. But you can, but if you learn strategies, you can really make some good plays against a lot of varieties of weapons. You just have to play intelligently and play cautiously, I'd say, and have a very good backup weapon. My usual backup setup is usually the Warped Axe, just for its range, and for aesthetic reasons. I like to keep the aesthetic very close to a warrior type of build. Granted, you can use any thrusting weapons, you could use halberds and stuff. I mean, it's really up to personal preference. Anything can really compensate for what the great weapons lack. Anything that has good range and good speed will definitely compensate. But since this is a video about the Pickaxe and Earthshaker, I kind of want to say both of them work very well in conjunction, especially on the attacks, since most of the attacks on the Pickaxe is Pierce, even with the Ashes of War. The counter damage is pretty enormous if used in the right moments, and especially against like really heavily armored targets. But just don't expect yourself to over penetrate everything, just because it's not entirely possible, depending on your stats and depending on the weapon types and depending on the Ash of War that your opponents use. I also would like to suggest using the Spear Talisman for counter damage in conjunction with the Great Shard of Alexander, just because the amount of damage on your Ashes of War, because you don't have to only use Earthshaker. This weapon's pretty versatile, just because anytime you do physical attack damage, it's going to do piercing damage, because the weapon only does piercing damage, which is great. So the counter damage, let's say you use Flame Strike, do the flame damage, so the Shard of Alexander will buff the flame damage, and then when you come back on the outswing of the weapon, you do piercing damage. There's a lot of Ashes of War that can make this weapon very versatile, and you can just do more damage on those counters. So you try your best to be creative is what I would suggest. And most importantly, playing with these great weapons so much, it's important to know that these weapons benefit the most from commitment, like engaged fighting. Like, you have to know when to be aggressive and when not to be, obviously, because if you're just throwing out random attacks, you're 100% going to get hit, and you're probably not going to get anything for it. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's really good to commit and take some damage, but sometimes you really don't. But that's one of the major parts about that's one of the major things about really learning these types of weapons. I would want to say they're fun, but just you're gonna do a lot of losing until you really learn how to fight with him. And that's okay. Losing is not a bad thing, because I mean, you learn from your losses. At least I do. I look back at footage, review everything, and make sure that I can at least devise a strategy that actually works. Because, bro, I've lost a lot of fights using great weapons, and experience is the greatest teacher. That is oh god, that's so true. Experience is your greatest teacher if you plan to play with these. Like, I think a lot of people get turned off from great weapons, and especially colossal weapons. I am scared of trying to PvP with colossal weapons right now outside of ultra great swords. But I do intend to move on to colossal weapons. I do plan to, just because they look fun, and they look like they hit really hard, and I can't wait. I'm probably going to get absolutely destroyed, but I'm gonna go for it. Well guys, that's the end of the commentary. I hoped I left you with something that's valuable, and I hope you enjoyed the footage. I will be uploading another Elden Ring video really soon. I'm just gonna do some more PvPing and collect some more footage, and maybe throw together some more ideas for another commentary. But until then, I hope this will sate your appetite for just fights in general. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and keep on slaying. Peace.